Very much, Sean. We are now on the other half of the quarterfinals. And first up, as we just found out, it will be VP versus NiP. A really just big matchup that I think a lot of people are looking forward to, regardless of what your predictions are. So let's hear initial thoughts from you three gentlemen. What do you think, Kadian?
That this is going to go to 3 maps is my first thought.
Oh,
really? That's it. Highlight. Done.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, that'd be exciting.
Keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, well, I think that NiP's run and form here has been pretty questionable. The opening game we saw from them against CLG showed things maybe a little bit weak, and then to continue that against TSM as well, they're definitely showing some signs of weaknesses. If we're basing this on this current event, VP have been great. They've only played Cobble twice. They've got 2 pretty interesting results. Cloud9 and Immunity, 16-8 both times. They're looking pretty strong. They've bounced back recently, reformed their lineup and kind of changed things around in terms of roles, but based on what I have before me, I have to favor VP, but I think I agree. It's going to be 3 maps, but maybe 2-1 in favor.
I mean, the reason why I agree with you just before VP gets his turn is because, I kind of disagree, is because the way we look at Virtus.Pro is we see who they actually played against. Okay, so they played against Immunity. That should be a safe win. Looking at Cloud9, they didn't win against Kinkwin, who didn't seem that convincingly against TSM either. So I agree that NiP looked poor in the group stage, but we should take care of hyping the Virtus.Pro train.
Now, Fifi,
my turn.
We'll let you have your turn now, don't worry.
Thank you. Okay, current form for VP. The past 5 games they've played, they all won all of them. They won Sivo, 3-1 in favor of Navi. Sure, Navi just went out today versus Envy. But overall, past 3 games that they played versus NiP, lost every single time to NiP. This matchup favors NiP quite a bit. Sure, VP, they have been on form. They have been looking a lot better than NiP has. But just basing off of their current matchup to one another, I favor NiP 2-1.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was kind of the thought from all of you guys. Even before this matchup happened, you're like, well, if NiP gets VP, that's actually some good news for NiP. We've had some brief thoughts here on the NVIDIA Expert Test, but let's find out, how do the players themselves feel about this quarterfinal matchup?
I've been very disappointed and kind of frustrated, if I'm going to be completely honest, how the group stage went for us. And the first game was like kind of nice and we know what they do and so on. But then we played TSM in the second game. I don't know what happened. I was really mad after the game and I couldn't really find an answer to what went wrong.
The group stage for us was pretty easy. We thought that it was going to be harder, but we came prepared, well prepared, and it was good for us.
Every step that you take in a major is always so important to go to the playoffs, because then you're always going to be having a new opportunity to play on a different stages around the world, and play here, especially in Cologne, the big one here. It's just amazing to be in the playoffs there, but that's just one step at a time, and we know that we fixed the first step, and now we just need to look forward and hopefully get to the last point, which is the final. Looking past how our group stage went, I'm not really that happy with it, but I know that we can do a lot better, and we are prepared so much for this tournament that it's just good to be in the quarterfinal, and we just need to step up as we wanted to and how we practice for. And if we do like we do in practice, I know we're gonna win.
We don't feel the pressure. We like the crowd. We always hope they're cheering for us or something. And yeah, we love it. We have to stay together as a team, and then I think we are prepared well to go to the semifinals and maybe to finals.
All right, now before we jump into the deep nitty-gritty analysis, I have to ask you guys, if NiP and VP were boy bands, which concert would you go to, NiP or VP?
That's a tough question.
It's a tough one.
Can I have a mix of both? Could I have a hybrid? Could I handpick some players?
Ooh, okay. All right,
The main singer would be Taz, right?
I think Alo's got that like Backstreet Boy look. He's got that face for it. So that's why I'd like to have him there as my front man at least.
It's kind of mysterious.
Yeah. Okay, he's got the tattoos as well. Like, he's got the bad boy look. So I think that'd be quite cool.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's also just nice to see these guys just having their moment, of course, in the spotlight here. But now they are here to play CS:GO, and it's going to come down to a best of 3. One team their road stops here, but one team gets to move on to the semifinal. Now that we've heard from the players themselves, let's get down into you guys have been favoring NiP. You told us fifth earlier, just based on the recent matchups. But do you think anything else, whether it's the styles or certain players and their roles, really favors NiP?
I mean, not, in particular, there really shouldn't be any kind of difference in roles. You have the star players in Virtus.Pro, you have the star players in NiP, but they do differ. You have Snacks used to play really aggressive, really great in terms of like in general, very stable player. But he's a very aggressive player. But then you have GetRight in NiP, and he has the lurker role, right? It's not aggressive at all. So like these two star players that they have are very, very different. And then you have the main operators obviously in each team. You have Pasha and you have Alu, also very different. Pasha, very solid, very, again, not a flashy player. He holds his angles and he hits them, right? Whereas Alu is a little bit more aggressive, tends to be a little bit flashy as well, but as of late, when it comes to like important games, he shows up.
Yeah. Katie, what are your thoughts?
I agree. The only thing I could disagree with it is maybe the opening of Pasha. It seems as of late they have changed it more into the Neo-Snacks combination.
So we saw Receiver at least. Yeah. That was the reformation of the roles.
It depends on the map, I'd say, right?
Well, from what we saw Receiver is they have solidly swapped it over. Like I said, Pasha can be quite defensive, but he seems to be more effective with his AK, especially on maps like Train. They can just send him out of T side or into main, and he seems to find kills out of nowhere. And Neo's very good at finding the one or two consistent, like not the flashy kills, but he hits the shots that count in the inside bomb site. So we saw a lot of that at SCII, and that's when they seem to be at their strongest. Obviously, they won that event coming out from a very poor run of form. So I think that's why they actually considered changing the roles up a little bit. So I do actually like the reformation of it. I think it does make them look a lot stronger. But yeah, it may actually differ from map to map, and maybe. We know they change the in-game leader almost every single event. So
who's calling now? Who's
calling? From what I understand, it's Taz, but that could be changed from
it might be Taz.
The group stages to the elimination stage. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's not to take anything away from Pasha's opening, but I feel like Neo and Snacks is on a different level in terms of positioning and just in general when to actually pick up the AWP. Where Pasha is more, if he's allowed to pick it up on a map, I feel like he picks it up at the wrong moments. I just feel like Neo and Snacks is making more use of it. Also, as you pointed out, Pasha might be more useful with an AK.
Yeah, I think so. He's been very explosive, but like I said, he can just get into situations. You can set him free on any point of the map, and he just seems to find kills from nowhere. He's very explosive in that sort of situation. So that's why I think he's actually been more useful recently.
And one thing to know as well about Neo, I think that he really has found his form as of late.
Yeah.
And that's great news for Virtus.Pro, because they always used to back in 2014, they had Pasha, one of the best players in the world. I think he was even ranked best player in the world for a few months, and then being a little bit of a slump, and then you have Neo now coming up, really shining for the team. Taz, obviously, always a very solid player. If he's calling once more again now, then I'd say it's more back to the current or to the usual shape. And then obviously you have Bialy, which is somewhat and also a very solid player. I wouldn't really say that Virtus.Pro has somewhat of a support player. It's mostly Taz that would do that job, but when he's not calling, he tends to pick up the slack, and obviously he's the kind of hot kind of guy as well.
Yeah, and I want to bring attention to maybe one player from each side. Of course, kind of in a head-to-head matchup. If we were to take a spotlight, I'm almost tempted to say in this matchup, but pretty much every team in the quarterfinals, you literally could take any of the players and make a story around them. But in this one, let's talk about Pasha. You guys already mentioned it, but on the other side, let's talk about GetRight for NiP. Tell us a little bit more about GetRight and his role in NiP.
GetRight has maybe not hit his top level as he had in the past, but he's so good at lurking. Like, the thing is, you can't learn what GetRight does. Like, it's all about the timing, and it's just something which is incredibly hard to master. And he does it time over and time over again. The thing is, people know that he's coming from behind. They know that he's lurking around on the other bomb side, but he still makes it work.
But sometimes it can be their weakness, though, especially when they're executing on the bomb sites and they get advantages. And like you said, players are aware that GetRight lurks here. And as soon as they kill him, for example, and they find that he's missing on the map, it almost gives off alarm bells as to what may be going on. It can be a little bit obvious sometimes. But like you said, you can't teach the skill he brings. It's not something you can watch his demo and say, I'm going to play like GetRight. A lot of CS comes down to just instinct and actual in-game IQ. You can't ever just watch demos and just play, I'm going to play for 2 years and get like GetRight. He is a special breed of player, and that's why he's had such a stellar CS career over the last 8 years or so.
Yeah, Fifth, what about you? What are your thoughts on GetRight?
I think my thoughts on GetRight in terms of his playstyle, it works when NiP plays well. What happens is when he's on the opposite side of the map, and let's say NiP gets shut down on the other bomb site, he's basically useless over there, right? He's going to get a few extra kills and he's going to end up dying, or he's going to end up saving. When NiP is playing to their maximum potential, when they do hit the sites, when they do get it and they get the bomb down, that's when Get Right really shines in terms of killing off the rotations. That's what he does best.
Exactly, and that's why a lot of people go to Freiburg and say that he's so important, because if he gets these entry kills, it's automatically going to force the rotation from the CTs, and this is where Get Right is effective, to go in on the bomb side, get these one-on-one situation, and he just wins them 9 out of 10 times.
Now, I want to go back slightly to what Fifi just said, and all three of you guys feel free to chime in. Then, in the cases where that turns out to be kind of a weakness or a disadvantage, do you think that's a weakness in the style itself of how the team operates with Get Right in that position, or is it a weakness of the player himself?
It's a compromise, I would say.
I was going to say it's a hybrid almost, like Fifth Lawrence said, when the team's firing on all cylinders, it synergizes perfectly. Like, he can pick teams apart, get into bomb sites by himself, find a frag, and like keep the CTs guessing in that sort of scenario. So it can be very effective, but when you're watching it, with 2020 hindsight of like observing the map and you see him dying or not potentially being that effective when they enter the bomb site, essentially missing a man sometimes, you have to question it. But you can't take anything away from that low roll. He defined it. He made it a viable option within CSGO. No one was really doing that until he turned up. So it's one thing to know. When he is playing well, he does it amazingly.
And a good quote as well is sometimes the threat is more scary than the execution. So if they're scared of him always coming from behind, it's also going to slow the rotation when NiP is actually hitting different bump sides. So in general, mastering this thing is just absurd to be this good at it.
Yeah, now, of course, we were talking about Pasha and Get Right kind of in the spotlight here, but we could go on all about the other 8 players too. On the side of NiP, let's also talk about Alu a little bit. Or yesterday rather, you noticed that, they swapped seats a little bit. We had a brief chat about that, but how much do you think that's going to take a role here, and do you think they're going to continue with that seeding if it's going to matter that much?
I mean, 100% I think they're going to continue with that seeding, especially as we talked about in the show. It is that the more people who can actually see the guy who's not speaking the language as well as monitor, the better it is. The more information they will have and the more information they can get further.
Just to bring that up, for anyone who wasn't watching yesterday, i.e. me, does that mean they've actually moved Alu to the end of the row?
So,
no, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what they thought. But how it actually was, apparently for the group stage, Get Right and Alu swapped.
I see.
So Alu was on the side, and then after that, in the consolidation match, they swapped again, so Alu was in between Sis and Get Right.
Okay.
Right, so now you have 2 sets of eyes watching the screen, so maybe that helps communication a little bit. Fifi, you gave us some insight on the fact that, that actually makes a lot of sense, given the language barrier they could have.
Yeah, for sure, and that's the thing. That's one of the main concerns that people had coming into the team. Like, in what language will they be calling? And you can hear from time to time. I was listening a little bit yesterday when they were playing against Renegades, and you hear Natu, their coach, he's calling back in English, right? And Alu from time to time it will be Swedish. If it's like something more important to call, it might call in English instead, just to get the news out there. But for the rest of NiP, if all 4 other members are alive, they will be calling in Swedish. If it's only, for example, 1 player and Alu left, they might just be calling in English instead.
They originally started off with all English,
yes,
right? That's correct. So that's what they experimented with that first, and then obviously had a poor run of form initially with him. So maybe it's an adaptation to try this out at this event to see whether it's something that actually benefits them, calling in the majority of players calling in their native language instead of having to adapt with the English.
Yeah, and a question that the casual viewer could come with us is, why did the last matchup have such a big discussion about in-game leaders, and why does this not have it? And I feel like a lot of this comes down to the playstyle of both teams. They both like to play the simple and basic CS. VP has more heavy executes than NiP, that's for sure. But it's interesting to see a team like Virtus.Pro being able to change in-game leader from event to event, make it work at different times, and the logical thing would be that it's actually going to benefit them somehow, because you're going to have a change in playstyle. You're not going to be as easy to read, but also the stability is going to be poor.
All right, well, we'd also like to talk about, of course, the maps and how that's going to pan out. That's been a big case so far in the quarterfinals, but for now, it's time to bring the players onto the stage. So, OJ, introduce our teams for us here for quarterfinal number 3.
Thank you very much, Chobra. Amazing insight as always from our expert panel on the expert desk. Now this is what ESL One is all about. The biggest matches against the biggest teams in the biggest arena CSGO has ever had. And if you think that's hype, it's not hype. It is the truth. So before we get into really hyping this mother up, let's find out, using our simple decibel test, who we think is going to win this. Who thinks the Ninjas are going to win? That is pretty convincing. Who thinks Virtus.Pro is going to win? I'm going to call that 56-44. So let's bring the teams out. First off, I want to hear how excited you are. Just the top level of the Lanxes. How excited are you up there? How excited are you in the middle? How excited are you on the floor? All right then, let's bring the teams out. Let's get it on!
Third matchup of the quarterfinal. Let's hear it, Cologne, for the first team, Ninjas in Pajamas. Give it up for their opponents. From Poland, here's Team Virtus.Pro.
All right, the teams now getting settled in their stations for the third quarterfinal. So far, we have Envious versus TSM in the upper bracket for the semifinal coming up there. But here in the quarterfinals still left, we first have to decide VP or NiP. Who's it gonna be? Moving on, Taz just taking it all in on that stage. And you see these players, they're really just living this moment of walking out onto the stage, getting ready to play these matches. Let's talk about the maps now then. We've briefed a little bit on just the overview on which players to look for. Are we gonna see any highlighted maps here in terms of favoritism?
It's difficult to say, really, judging from what NiP have brought to the table so far. Their Dust 2, a map we normally see them do very well on. They struggled against CLG. It was a convincing win in the end, but 16-13 against a team you definitely rate them higher than. It was a questionable result, but going on to Inferno as well, they played Renegades on that. They looked very strong. Inferno is one of those maps, as soon as they get rolling on it, they can knock anyone out of it. So in terms of that, I'm not really sure where to place it, really. Like, Kaden, where do you see this being a viable option for them? Like, their cash has been weak in the tournament as well, so it's difficult to say what's a strong map here for NiP.
I feel like NiP is going to remove cash or a cobblestone. It's probably going to be one of those two, but I agree, it's very hard to say with these teams. They play a lot of maps, and it's hard to put them in a ranking. I feel like Virtus.Pro could be looking... I don't know if they are ballsy enough to go for the opposite pick of cash or cobblestone, but that is most likely what I would do. Fifi, you know them better than we do.
I mean, just basing off of how NiP likes to play, obviously right now it's a best of three. They're only allowed to remove one of the maps.
Right.
They don't really play overpass. Not at all. But then you have the option here where Virtus.Pro, yeah, they play it a little bit, but not too much either. Coming into looking at the past results, Virtus.Pro is actually really good on the cobblestone, and they're not a bad cash team, despite the fact that they lost to Kingwin 60-0 that one tournament. They are actually usually very stable on it.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So then it's all about what NiP choose to do here. Do they want to just let cobblestone slide? Are they confident? Do they want to let cash slide? The thing is, NiP, they're not a bad cash team either. It's just they got just so outplayed by TSM.
Yeah.
Or just veto the safe bet, which is overpass, and just play the maps that you actually practiced, right? In terms of picking the maps, NiP, Dust 2 seems to be their go-to map, but then again now they have actually put in extra time on Inferno once more, and then just for Virtus.Pro, I think if they had a chance to get cobblestone, I think that they might actually pick that.
Yeah, of course. Now they've played Cobblestone in both of their group matches, going both 16-8. Opponents were Immunity and Cloud9, but basically overall that means they've been showing dominant performance, and they've had very recent experience given the team's performances here at the majors. So maybe Cobblestone being on the radar for VP versus NiP. Got a brief look at that too, as map veto getting all set up between these two teams. Gonna go. So do we still stand that maybe we will go all 3 games, regardless of the maps? Because again, you only get 1 veto each.
Yeah, and I think after listening to the opinions of the analysts, it must be said that for the matchup between the 5 players in each team, NiP should have the advantage. I would slightly give the advantage for Virtus.Pro maybe in the veto though, because what's not being removed of one of those we talked about, it could be Overpass, couple of Cash, could be a very strong pick for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah.
And if you have that one confident pick in a veto, suddenly it can look really good for you.
One thing to note as well, in these big tournaments, NiP get to the final every single time. This is their arena. They love playing under this pressure. So you can never count them out of this sort of series. So regardless of the map, they're always going to try and find a foot in here. But they've got to watch VP twice on Cobblestone. They know this matchup is coming, so potentially could have done their homework on that and may not have to actually veto that one. So a lot of information gained from those 2 games we've only seen VP on.
Yeah, earlier we talked about how every team seems to have a story around themselves when it comes to majors. And for NiP, it's the one that I think almost anyone has heard of. The fact that they managed to get to the finals no matter how they looked before. And we joked around with Exist about it before too during their interview. We were like, well, hey, you guys aren't looking too good in the groups. And he said, well, we don't often, right? It's just kind of to be expected, but then we show up and we get to the finals, so who knows? And a bit of a homecoming, of course, for the NiP brand, Fifth, you would know very well.
Yeah, and one thing to know as well, even coming into the playoff games, NiP tend to lose the first map, which that Katie stated as well, and we even called that versus Virtus.Pro this game as well. They will lose the first map, they will win the last 2, and they are very slow starters, and so they might actually just let this one first map slip, just try and take a gamble there and just veto something that they really don't want to play, and then just scratch that and then aim for the last 2.
Yeah, now I like that you brought up the whole idea of the slow start, and do you think that's tied into perhaps something we discussed earlier about how you let your emotions ride and how the experienced teams don't tend to necessarily get too swayed by their emotions? They know how to pace themselves both outside of the game.
Yeah, we're talking about that. Look at VP. They're one of the most emotional teams in the entire scene.
That's true.
They can be very hot-headed, inter-team arguments happening all the time, and they somehow manage to bounce back into it. It depends on the lineup. NiP generally seem like a very calm team. It's just they listen to Exist. They've got Natu there to back them up and calm them down as well. Sometimes their in-game decisions are questionable. I think their economy management's been a little bit questionable recently as well, but like we said, this is stadium time now. They know what they need to do to win this series, and I'm sure they're prepared for it.
NiP Magic, bro.
That's right. We have the fans here. I mean, you saw the crowd just chanting for NiP when they entered the stadium the first time. Also, when they entered onto the stage, and all 10 players now getting ready, so we should be jumping into the map veto very soon. Time to find out what the first map will be, and if in fact NiP is going to have that slow start but go for the longer run here in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, and I feel like it can only be underlined how insane it is to actually reach all 5 major finals. We talked about how tough the best of 1 group system is. Not only you have to manage to get through that, you also have to win 2 best of 3s against a very good team in the quarterfinal and a really sick opponent in the semi, and they've done that 5 times in a row. Maybe they've only won once, but it's still a sick statement.
One incredible thing into that mix as well is the randomization of the best of 3 maps. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so you're going the best of 1, you get a random map going into it. It's not like you can have a real serious game plan going into it. You have to be prepared across the board. So that's why it's such a challenge. And what makes this tournament so magical is this: you have to come in being one of the world's best teams. You want to have a shot of winning this.
Yeah, well, that's why it's called NiP Magic, right? I mean, they seem to have their just bases covered when they come into the majors. And I want to highlight that again. The fact that they've reached every final, in another way, sure, sometimes it's like, well, you've only won once. But the fact that if you're top 2 at every major, man, most people cannot compete with that in any industry, in any field. That's something absolutely to be proud of.
I feel like it's even more impressive when you look at their runs. Like, if they had been a top 2 team in the world for the entire CSGO living time, then okay, you would justify it. They should make it to the final. But there has been situations where this team should not have been in the final, but they make it work because of these individuals of Get Right, Forest, etc. They just bring something like an X factor that not a lot of other players has.
Yeah, I think the X factor is a good way to sum it up. They can perform under pressure, and they, like you said, they may not come into the tournament with the best run of results or even the best form, but they know when they need to pull something out of the bag, they always seem to find it. So this is going to be a great series. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's such a classic matchup as well. NiP versus Virtus.Pro. So much history here.
And we're talking about history, right? As far as I know, Virtus.Pro is the only team to participate all majors with the same lineup.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, that's also something quite impressive.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Actually,
Yeah.
I actually believe I've heard that too.
Yes, you are actually correct. The first major that they had was I think it was the first tournament.
DreamHack Winter 2013.
Yeah, that Virtus.Pro attended with their new lineup.
Yeah.
Well, how many different people have called in all those majors then, right, for Virtus.Pro? But hey, they managed to make that work too. So yeah, that's a really good point. These two teams having their own form of consistency here when it comes to majors. And if you guys were watching carefully, you saw that sneak peek. It looks like the players are now in the lobby getting ready for the veto. So just maybe a minute more before quarterfinal number 3 kicks off between NiP and VP.
It's insane. We had so many 6 CS moments today. And this is not only the last game, right? We could potentially have 3 maps here, 3 maps after. I mean, this day is a glory day of CS.
Yeah, I mean, we kicked off the day with just an amazing highlight reel of a game between Envious and Na'Vi, and we're still going strong. Of course, TSM showing up to play very well in their quarterfinals, and we're not even done today. Everyone, of course, we have the semifinals, and what's the most important match? The finals happening tomorrow here at the Lanxess Arena. Should just be an epic 2 days of CSGO. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard our thoughts. Please let us know what you think. Hashtag ESL One. Now that you've heard the experts give their opinions, if you've been swayed by anything they said, do you think the NiP magic will continue, or do you think it will be VP coming in to shake things up a little bit on the bottom half of their bracket? Everything ESL, CS, you'll be able to let us know what you think and how you're taking part in watching this awesome tournament. Of course, let us know how you're watching it too, because obviously we see the 11,000 people here watching it, but I'm pretty sure there's just a little bit more than 11,000 people watching around the world right
Probably a little bit more, yeah. I think
just a few.
maybe around the 1 million mark or something like that, but...
Yeah, actually, I think you guys want to bet if we're going to hit a new record during this game?
I'm not going to jinx this game, Katie.
Okay, I'm 100% sure we'll not reach a new record. I counter-jinxed, so now...
Now we're getting deep.
We're talking about teams with big followings, though. These are 2 teams with immense backing, like NiP coming to this event. When Mousesports got knocked out, I think NiP automatically become the hometown favourites. You can see so many NiP jerseys within the crowd. They've got a huge following here, and they've got a big backing. Same goes for Virtus.Pro as well, representing Poland, and they have a huge following, especially the individual players as well. Players like Pasha, obviously a fan favourite amongst the whole community.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the fans. I mean, the fact that Sean never seems to have any trouble when he goes into the audience of finding fans for each team with jerseys on, having, you know, names of their favorite players ready and signed on all of their stuff, gear that they've brought into the stadium is really awesome to see. And yeah, we saw, of course, the fans with the flag here for TSM too, cheering them on for Denmark. And yes, we have a lot of beautiful fans here too, watching CSGO, and it's time to get into the veto. Hey, this time we're right in, ladies and gentlemen. Not going to keep you waiting too long before this epic matchup.
No, so we stated what we think, and here comes the first ban. It's Dust2 removed by Virtus.Pro. Interesting choice for sure, but
I mean,
it can be justified.
Yeah, I do like this video.
Yeah.
Just comes to show, and yeah, you see the overpass ban,
surprise,
like I
surprise!
said.
It's Christmas, huh?
I mean, I was indeed correct.
So do we assume that means VP we're picking? I was going to say
Train
Cobble,
pick.
but Train comes
And
out.
actually, Train was
time-
played
yeah.
at Face It, and it was
NiP
an
lost.
overtime game.
Or NiP won.
Yeah, 21-17 for NiP, so it's a close matchup. Other than that, we're having Cash Overpass played recently. Overpass obviously not going to be played this time, but it's going to be the Inferno pick coming in.
That's what we thought. We saw them play against Renegades on that map. Like I said, once they build momentum up and find their footing, they can be so formidable, especially on the CT side, so aggressive and find frags out of
If
nowhere.
this goes
So-
into
There it is, though.
Ash coming out. I mean,
That
this is
last
a
map.
really good best of 3.
Wow.
These 3 maps are going to be really good.
I think NiP need to win the first map, though. If it goes to Cash, I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble based on what we've seen. Unless they've been able to adapt their setup. The mid was a huge area of contention for them as CT.
And
They were
a
allowing...
fun fact here.
Okay.
Back when the old train used to be in play, us and VP, we were neck on neck on that map. Neck and neck on that map. And coming into this new train as well, both teams like the map. NiP have struggled on it as of late. But yes, indeed, they did beat Virtus.Pro last time they played on it. It was overtime, it was close. I wonder if VP actually worked on it a little bit more now.
And you must hope that that NiP has been watching their VOD of the cash game against TSM, because surely there's room for improvements. And if they made the improvements in this short notice of time, that's going to be the question.
Oh man, looks like it's going to be exciting. Henry, you told us that NiP needs to win on Train if they want to make sure they can secure this match, but you guys also told us that they're a slow starter in these best of threes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's time to find out, is NiP willing to continue that magic, or is VP coming in to plow them down? Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here. It's the third quarterfinals. I'm Anders, and with me is Moses and Semler. How are you guys feeling?
Absolutely wonderful.
Much better now, Anders.
Much better now. It's like there's some sort of team that's been assembled here.
Yeah, I really wonder, the bromance?
Yeah, something going on.
All right, let's go. But guys, this is going to be the third quarterfinal match of the day, NiP versus Virtus.Pro. And just like the analysts were saying, there's so much history between these two lineups. The finalists from Katowice 2014, I mean, there's a lot to be settled when it comes to majors between these two.
Yeah, and especially on this map in specific, these are two of the teams that were so good on the older version of this map. They loved playing it, both of these teams.
So almost a little bit of a nostalgia, is that what you were saying?
Yeah,
I think so.
Back in
Throwing
the
me back.
Nostalgia for us, but like Fiflaren just wants to burn this from his memory, right? That FAMAS, he still has it. Never forget.
Oh no. Well, what do you guys think? We got the panel's opinion on this. Moses, I want to hear your thoughts. Who's winning this based on the maps?
This is. I think Virtus.Pro is going to take it based on these maps. Especially, it does all come down to Inferno, because Virtus.Pro starting CT side on Inferno, that's a huge disadvantage for NiP. But the thing on Train especially is Virtus.Pro exploding on both of these bomb sites. Their executes occur so quickly. They're so explosive. Sometimes when they go into this outer bomb site, the rounds, like the bomb's planted within 10 to 15 seconds. So, I mean, the Ninjas in Pajamas have got to have like some good utility. They've got to be able to slow those attacks down and manage the lanes between these train cars.
That's going to be the important bit, having the money to basically be able to stop the rush, because also we've seen some teams have quite a bit of difficulty shutting down an outer rush, and that seems to be the go-to play, and you'll just keep running that over until it's like, hey, figure out how to deal with this, or we're just going to run you over. So eventually NiP are going to have to show their ability to adapt, but of course this is NiP.
You over, perhaps?
I see what you did there.
Does it impress you guys, or does it change your mind at all to think that the point in time where NiP looked almost their weakest was actually when they ended up winning the major? Is that going to be, you know, is there something to that whole NiP magic thing, or is that overrated in this context?
No, that's the thing. I've been wondering about that, Anders. You know, how to counter what NiP are so good at, right? Every time somebody goes for their opponent, they seem to win. So maybe I'm going to say that NiP are going to take this 2-0.
Oh.
And we'll have an even playing field. Not that NiP are going to win it now, but that we'll have an even playing field. Just try and counter, take a little edge off.
Well, I didn't give my opinion yet. I'm not sure. I have a gut feeling that VP might take this as well, but I could see this going on to a third map. I could do that. But Cash is also a map where NiP, I feel like they've got pretty big ups and downs on that map. So.
Well, talk about ups and downs. They just had a major down just a couple days ago against TSM on it, getting beat. What was it, 16-2? It was.
Yeah.
It was. That's about as far down as you can go.
Yeah, that wasn't a pleasant experience at all. TSM also showing that they're in fine form with a quick 2-0 win over Kingwin after, well, not so quick a break. Usually ESL pretty good with the short breaks, but not that time.
Can I point out that Exist is actually holding a notepad here, which is something that we haven't seen. Like, Exist's style of calling for the longest time has probably been like the most casual and relaxed in the scene, like you know, not investing that much time into it, and just, you know, mostly I think basing it off of his teammates' abilities. You know, just people are allowed to chime in and do whatever they want almost. And he has like a general plan, so this seems like a bit of a step up, I think.
Yeah, it's a good change because that's kind of why we've seen, in my opinion, why we've seen NiP struggle recently is because it is based a lot on their defaults, and it's very, you know, with the way that these roles are defined in this team, you know Freiburg's going to go for an entry somewhere. If he doesn't win that, you know there's going to be Get Right on the other side lurking. You know there's going to be Forrest somewhere, you know, working for some kind of a duel. So they're very easy to read. So if he's got this notebook and he's changed some things up for this tournament specifically, that's huge.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. I mean, of course, and this is basically what you always have to take into account is that scrims versus actual tournament matches, scrims don't measure up in any way, shape, or form, but it does seem like NiP we're showing good form before going into this tournament. So that's something to keep in mind. Perhaps they will have some changes that have been made just to be able to catch Virtus.Pro off guard here.
The only team where the pre-tournament height of practice matches actually turned out to be true was Virtus.Pro when they won in Katowice in 2014. Everyone said they're so hot, they're so good, and they turned up and smashed it. They beat NiP in the very finals. So we'll see. Virtus.Pro across the board, every time we ask people, which is the most difficult team to play, everyone says Virtus.Pro in the European scene and in the North American scene.
And it all comes down to when they play that very aggressive, no-respect style, just in your face, and that just plays into the fact that on this map, you can get to those bomb sites, you can get the bomb planted very, very quickly, and they're just going to want to be aggressive through their own smokes. They're going to throw them to give them just a couple seconds of cover, flash through, get through, and attack that bomb site.
Well, it seems like everybody's had a solid performance on VP. The man that was just on your screen there, Taz, I mean, he locked things down as well. He's stepped up in an individual level. But Neo, the legend, I mean, I think we have to put some eyes on him because he seems to be stepping up with the AWP for this team.
Absolutely. And the cool thing too is in the games yesterday to get here to the quarterfinals, NiP playing against Renegades, Vintage Forest came out, which is something that we haven't seen too often recently. He was playing like a beast. He was hitting some beautiful shots, and that's necessary if NiP wants to make it back to the finals.
And you say Vintage Forest, and that sort of almost forces us to talk a little bit of history here, because we already had the panel to go over how long these guys have been playing and how much history is really in this matchup. But there is another layer to it, which is the fact that Natu's also doing the coaching for NiP and a lot of the strategizing. Probably I would say Natu must be the person in the scene right now we have with the most Counter-Strike experience, has been playing for the longest time, I believe. And on the other team, we've got Cuban, who's part of the original Golden Five. So there is, you know, even outside the 10 people playing here, there's a lot of history in this matchup, and that's incredible all on its own. It shows you that, you know, once you start playing Counter-Strike, you really never quit.
Yeah, there's like a combined like 15,000 years of experience between these two teams. They've all been playing for so long.
On the line side, but it looks like the countdown has begun to get this match started. The first map here between Virtus.Pro and NiP in the third quarterfinal of the ESL One.
We're gonna get underway just about any second now.
Look at this lead up, and so hype in this stadium. It's just packed full of fans. Everybody, no halvesies this time either. You know, no LoL fans mixed in, no StarCraft 2. This is pure CS. 10,000 plus people filling a stadium. I mean, talk about a perfect third birthday here for CSGO, right?
Yeah, this is beautiful. We've been saying it all day. It's a dream come true, and not only for us, but for these players, for all the fans filling it up really as well.
Yeah, and you speak to everyone here at ESL, you get the sense that they've been looking at this arena for a very long time and have wanted to make this come true. And now we are here indeed. Seems like the pistol round is about to get underway. 5 more seconds and we're going to be into it. It will be Virtus.Pro starting on the terrorist side and NiP on the CT side of Train. So everybody welcome here. It's the third quarterfinals of the day.
Double flash actually picked up here for VP. It's 3 guys with Kevlar, lots of Kevlar over on NiP, and of course Freiburg carrying the kit. That's his job, that's what he does best it seems. But the bomb making its way into Brown Halls to start. Virtus.Pro taking a poke over here to see if they can catch anybody out of position. But NiP on their side, they're holding very passively right now. Neither team wants to make the mistake that's going to give their opponent that opening frag to start things on this map.
And Exist being pushed just a little bit, gonna recommit, gets the head trick, gets a second one, shots down by Ali, what a start! Forrest chiming in, and this is looking very bad for Virtus.Pro. Snack's gonna fall to Alu, and Neo all alone. Get right. You can tell he wanted to make that jump, but there's no reason to risk it. It's a 1v4, and Neo is gonna get dropped as well. What a start here from the Swedish captain.
Right, Virtus.Pro just comes in, they try and clear out those brown hulls, gain some map control, make sure there's not going to be any early flanks, but it doesn't matter when Exist hits shots like these, eliminates half the attack in one go, and then they can focus on the rest of the train yard.
That's the important bit right there. VP, that haul lynched on a pincer movement to catch somebody in the back that was holding Ivy. Exist with the 2 key frags to make that pistol round possible for NiP and to give them the guns early on here. So 1-0 the score, NiP ahead, and now all the pressure on VP, who do go for the force buy as well. There's no skimping here trying to get up to an AWP or have more nades. No, they want to get some damage done. But Freiberg getting some damage done as well. Over on lower, he's able to pick things off.
Yeah, no, incredibly spread out for the Virtus.Pro players. They can't really group up and make any decision quite yet. They've got to find some gap in the defense that they can exploit with these pistols. They have to do damage based on this investment.
It's a bit of a problem that TAS ended up going down because what they really want in this round, VP, is to just get the bomb down. That's why they invested into all these smokes so they could put up some sort of wall, get in and get the bomb down, but that's going to be very tricky now. You can tell Forrest is close here, and he's going to open up with a good shot on Snacks.
He is clearly warmed up right now. He will get overwhelmed by Bialy and Neo there with the Tech 9. 2 quick kills going VP's way, and all they're looking for is that bomb plant. But Neo, once again for the second round, is all by his lonesome in a 1v3. And he's just stuck looking for a way out. He's got that P90, holds mouse 1, but it's not going to be good enough. But all who kills Exist. You're thinking, great, NiP, they weathered the storm with 3 players alive, but that's just not the case in the end.
Right, that actually turns things out. That third kill, that third rebuy that's forced out is pretty solid for Virtus.Pro despite not getting that bomb plant.
Not too bad at all. That's going to lead us into the third round where VP, unlike teams that we saw earlier today, actually will go for a pretty steady eco here. And I'm glad to see that. I don't want VP making any sort of rush decisions here. They have a really good train. They should just rely on that and get the rifles they need in the upcoming round.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Because of that buy in the second round, they won't be able to have an AWP in the fourth round. So they're going to be a little hurt on utility and some long-range weapons.
I'm actually not too annoyed for VP, though, just because that third kill coming in makes the round halfway decent, right? NiP did have to spend a bit more money. We can see Exist skimping with the USP. Snacks manages to walk right up on Forrest, get that kill, and bit of the AD strafe, and he's going to be able to pick up a kill of his own. Pasha going to be the last man alive now for Virtus.Pro, and he's in a bit of a tight spot. The defense hasn't been breached. NiP still kicking, and Exist just slams him.
Right, and this coming round, this is huge, and without the benefit of an AWP to try and find some picks, I would expect that Virtus.Pro is going to try and set that tone, try and do something relatively fast-paced, throw those smokes outside, get out, find your battles, try and get through them. Alu sticking with the P90 and a couple FAMASes as well on Ninjas in Pajamas, so Virtus.Pro actually, despite down 0-3, they actually have the advantage in terms of weaponry.
And as far as the gear is concerned as well, because right now they have full nades going up a bit against a bit of a light VP. VP, not all the flashes they would like, few HEs, but they do have the smokes, and that's the important bit.
And a bit of a battle through those smokes. Look at Exist, he's boosted up to look over, but Pasha sees it coming. What a great kill here from the Polish player, and that's going to give them a perfect start. A trick that NiP probably hoped would shut down VP early on, and Get Right, how does it happen? Takes down Snacks, follows it up with a flashbang, and now it's back to a 4v4. Freiberg's very low, but Get Right will find a second kill on Neo, and now they have the lead, and they're looking good. VP, they're out in the courtyard. They're trying to get in here. Freiberg going to shot one more down. It's now a 2v4. They're bringing it back in style, and it's tough for VP now.
It doesn't get any better than that for Alu either. Free upgrade, gets an AK, and now they're caught in a bit of a tight spot. Forrest lands both kills. No, Get Right is there to take the first one on Pasha, but still, the important bit is that it's a 4-0 lead for NiP.
And that's all the fact of Ninjas in Pajamas, just playing around that bomb train, stalled out that attack. Even with the opening pick by Pasha, they weren't able to progress onto the bomb site whatsoever. They actually had the NiP players trapped inside the site, but Get Right with a couple good kills alleviates the pressure.
Well, it's going to lead into another round here with a couple of smokes, couple of flashbangs here. I think VP again are looking for a bomb plant. Maybe get that extra $800 bonus per person if you get the bomb down, even as you lose the round. Just in case any new viewers out there who are not up to date on how that part of the game works, that's the goal. So, you know, investing this into the round is definitely worth it. That's a $1,000 investment for a lot more in return.
And now the push begins, basically. They're just going to go cascading down lower onto that B side. VP gets slammed from the start, though. Alu getting the first headshot, and then Freiberg lining him up. Triple kill for him, and he could get the quad as well. Keeps his cool and gets the job done. 5-0 now for NiP, and Virtus.Pro get nothing in that eco round.
And this is brilliant from NiP. Look at the amount of money that's built up. They've been playing these anti-ecos so well, not taking too much damage. Now they have so much money, they're able to spend it on those Molotovs, on all the flashbangs and smokes they need for the choke points. If Virtus.Pro does ever come out with a fast strategy, they have everything they need to slow it down and gather the defense.
And oh god, Alu, I think he started this round with $12,000. That's so much that VP have to dig through. They need to start chaining a couple of rounds together here. NiP still going to be slightly aggressive, but he's just actually under the radar. He's going to get the kill, goes for a bit more. Is he going to jump and shoot? He headshots Neo mid-air, but doesn't make it out, and that's going to be 4v3, so still a good start for VP.
Exists with some style points there. Alu alive on the site and get right, but they're currently getting flanked out. Snacks moving up behind him. Free kill there. Alu is gone. And now a 2-man advantage for Virtus.Pro going into the plant if they like it, but they still have so much time, Anders, to find out where the remaining members are for NiP.
Get right here. He's going to get taken out, so now it's on Friberg, and he's got a 1v3 on his hand. They haven't put the bomb down yet, but he's walking into a crossfire, turning his back. I don't think he's realizing. They're not realizing either. Friberg is going to be up the stairs. Oh, they're going to get him. Snacks ready and waiting, even though they hadn't hurt him. Very quick reaction. That could have been quite a good start if he takes down the man in sniper spot.
Right, but that's Snacks. That's what he does. He's that X factor for Virtus.Pro. Works his way through that smoke. He's all alone in the outer bomb site, knowing he needs to make a play. Works his way through the smoke, finds the one kill that cracks that site open. That's the first run on the board for Virtus.Pro, but now they've got to string it together. If their economy gets reset, that puts them into a very dire situation.
And that's going to be the issue here. There's a little bit of additional pressure on Virtus.Pro now to come through in this key round, but very fast smokes out into the yard. Alu posted up, though, looking for that first peek, and nobody showing on VP's side. They've done a pretty good job, although they have taken some initial damage on Snacks and Neo.
That's a lot of their utility used to not commit to that. They've gone into the inner bomb site now. It's a little bit of a fake.
Friberg is alone back here, and this is not going to be easy. He actually has to stay alive and wait for backup to come in, so we're looking at a full retake. And Pasha immediately making it great for VP, taking down Friberg. And how are they going to get in here?
That's a real question now. Man advantage and a 2-man advantage at that. Snacks doing what Snacks does. Just lurking about, waiting for Forrest to push through for the flank, and it's just not meant to be this time around for NiP. And the smart call here is to back off. VP, though, they've dialed in on this. They now realize exactly what the ninjas are up to, and it's their choice now whether they want to hunt or not. Not sure if they want to go for the full hunt, risking all their guns, though, just because they're fairly low on money still.
That's actually a beautiful call, a beautiful mind game from Virtus.Pro, throwing those nades outside. You could see how nervous NiP is, understanding how aggressive and how fast-paced that A take can be from Virtus.Pro. So they throw the fake, they pull that one rotation away, and that's all they need. That's the only window they needed to get into that B bomb site. It was just Friberg there, like you said.
Yeah, and could he have done anything differently? Would it have been better if he had tried to fight it before the bomb went down?
No, because he doesn't know where they're coming from at that point. He's on top of the train. He's exposed from so many different angles. They could have been anywhere, so he falls back. He actually finds a one-on-one, just loses it.
Yeah, that's the brutal part right there. I mean, Pasha not missing that shot. That was the key kill. If Friberg picks up that kill, then it gets a whole lot easier for NiP. Some more aggression coming out here, and Genright actually pushing up fairly close, so we'll see if he gets any joy holding over outside. But Pasha, what is this? Sneaks right up and takes Friberg out. There's the opening. No longer any defense here on the B side. Get right looking for an opportunity to try and get something done as well. And he could very well drop the bomb. Does just that. And he gets the second kill as well. Get right putting it back into this round.
Oh, wow, what a turn of events. That's going to shake Virtus.Pro. They're going to be stunned at this point in time. They've got the bomb site, yes, but they're lacking the bomb. They're back to pick it up at this point in time, but this is giving NiP so much room to roll around, and there it is, Forrest taking down Pasha, and now it's on Taz and Neo. 2v4 at the moment. A missed shot also reveals exactly where that AWP is. He's going to jump down to the low ground. And look at Taz, he's on a mission. This could be the clutch play. He's walking up behind. Oh, he's been spotted, so now he's alone. Gets a headshot on Forrest, but they shouldn't be able to lose this NiP. They've got a great position. Grenade on in, might kill Get Right. Actually, the bullets land first, and look at Taz making this very expensive, but he can't seal the deal. He can't win the round.
No, and that's around the time. Look at this play is amazing from Get Right. That first kill, and then he turns around, he spins it, he's so prepared for it, just takes out Snacks, and with the bomb down, it delays everything, and that slows the attack down from Virtus.Pro. Pasha's trying to gain ground by pushing up that inner bomb site, but Forrest eliminates him, and from there, Virtus.Pro has nothing left to do but get the bomb down and just pray.
Get that bonus money, that's what it's about at that point. But NiP, you know, still letting go a little bit. That did cost them a whole lot more than they would have liked. A 4-on-2 situation, losing all those players in the end. But yeah, VP gathered up, ready to go. And it is looking like it's going to be an execute. Very quick timing here for VP, and they're just going to go running onto the side. Freiburg with some good spray, but he gives away his position doing it. Forrest, however, will rectify that. Turns it back into a 4-on-4 and could very well catch out Snax. He realizes and gets the headshot.
Snax gone down. VP, they get into these sites, but the individual performances from NiP just too much. There's Forrest again, picking up a triple up the ladder. He's gonna go and sprays down. It's gonna be the quad kill. Almost gonna get the ace. Pasha, the last man alone, and it's a 1v3. He's got a Molotov. I don't think it's gonna be in time. They're already on it. He tries to get the angle down, but it's too late. Great effort there from Pasha. I mean, if that Molotov lands, they have no smokes left to actually stop it. Very good idea, but couldn't make it work.
That 4-kill from Forrest, he's being so active on this map so far. That was beautifully done from him, and that's actually Virtus.Pro a couple rounds in a row having a lot of success on that B bomb site, so they look to manipulate it one more time, but this time NiP puts 2 players there, so even when Freiburg falls, they're not prepared for Forrest.
Yeah, and it's been a long time, it feels, since we've seen this kind of level out of Forrest as well. He wasn't lying when he said he was going to get prepared for this tournament, and Alu's starting off strong here in this round, picking off Pasha as they try to push out main. Virtus.Pro getting slowed down, and they don't have much utility left. One smoke goes down, Exist goes charging through, removes Snax from the board, but he does get picked off in turn, and there's Taz bringing it back to a 3-on-3, now a 3-on-2. Frags everywhere.
Yeah, it's impossible to keep up at this point, but VP have a legitimate shot at doing this with Freiburg. Long range, sprays down Neo, and now by Ali. He gave up the bomb a couple of rounds ago. This time, see if he can make it back. Instant headshot on Get Right, and that's very long range indeed. So a double kill here for the young Polish player, and he's going to try and play a very, very long con against Freiburg here. Running all the way back, and we'll see if Freiburg is going to realize he's right now sticking on that A bomb site. I'm going to see if anyone is going to see this coming. Freiburg for a moment is doubting himself, and by Ali, he gets to just sneak in here. Look at the clock. This is important. If he fakes it once and Freiburg hears it, he might be close enough to do something about it. 30 seconds. And Freiburg on in. He hears that bomb plant. By Ali going to go back to check for it, and he's racing against the headshot. He clutches it. That was a great move by Ali. Long range at first, and then a very, very long con against Freiburg.
Yeah, very, very smart one-on-one from Bialy, just playing that clock. And you said it, Freiburg starts to doubt himself. There's so much time in the middle of that A-bomb site, so many different angles that he can come from that Freiburg has to keep his head on a swivel. So he does the logical thing. He goes in between the bomb sites so he has a quick rotate no matter where that bomb is being planted at. But Bialy knows it. With the fake plant, he's looking directly at that spot.
Yeah, incredible play there. And that was such a crucial round as well for VP because now it puts NiP in the hole. NiP going for the force buy, and this could be a big round right here to turn the momentum VP's way. So it comes down to patience now and who's going to land the shots. We need to see that level from Forrest and Get Right still. They seem to be the ones stemming the tide. But VP, patient. They realize just how important this round is. They aren't going for any risky rush this time.
Yeah, but look at the buyout of NiP. They're almost out of utility completely. Exist has 2 flashbangs. That's it. They also only have 1 kit on Get Right. This is very, very tough situation for them.
And Exist, he might be caught in this corner. Look at Bialy, another 2 headshots. And Forrest and Exist evaporate. It's going to be Snax to take down Get Right. And now Alu and Freiburg are left 2v5 at the moment. VP, they're coming back in this game. Alu finally getting that AWP shot through. Freiburg going to be dropped as well. And now it's on Alu in a 1v4. The Finnish sniper here. He is going to have to go more than just a little bit crazy to try and get anything. Even to try and survive in this round is going to be difficult. He's making his way back, but they've got him boxed in. Alu, there's no way out. He pulls out the Molotov. He's close, but getting shot in the back. And that's a great round from VP.
It's scary for NiP now that Bialy has come into his own here. Very impactful couple of rounds there from him. Just those kills over at Ali, they opened so much up, and you can see once the kills come in, Snax so aggressive at taking that extra space that Bialy has created for him and finding a third of his own, and then they just have a free reign at the bomb site.
Yeah, 2 rounds in a row where Bialy is basically bringing it back, and he had a real slow start to this map as well, sitting at the bottom of the board with only 2 frags in 2 rounds. He's, well, up to 6. So far, so good, and if you get Bialy fired up as well, things are going to get very difficult, or could continue to do so here for NiP.
I think VP realizing that NiP don't have any armor, so they're not going to respect them, just charging on in and relying on the superior equipment here. Freiburg, the last alive, and in a 1v4, gonna just rush in here. Should be going down. Will land a headshot, but it's not going to be enough. I do want to point out that actually, maybe it's too soon to call, but it could signify sort of a change individually for Bayali. I would say mentally, he's been by far and away the weakest player on this VP team. When he goes on tilt early in a match, it takes him almost a whole game to get back. He had a slow start, and he's already still stepping it up. That's very important for the whole team.
Right, crucial to find ways to have an impact even when you feel like you're struggling, and Bayali's done it now. And once again, a very, very weak buy. This is exactly what Virtus.Pro likes. They can prey on the fact that NiP doesn't have a lot of utility, a lot of arsenal to stop them. Look how fast-paced this play is towards B.
Yeah, exactly. Straight out onto the map, but then again, Freiburg running through that smoke. The double up, and Bayali will be able to take out Freiburg, but the damage is done. Man advantage here for NiP going into this retake as the bomb will get planted on the B site.
Look at this, still a couple of Molotovs left on VP. One of them just died with Bayali, and that's very unfortunate. They could have used a lot of those grenades, but Neo gonna go down, and it's all on Pasha. Gets a good shot in there, but he's got nowhere to go. He's boxed in. He goes down to Get Right, who lands a double kill, and NiP make it to 8-5. And Moses, now's about that time that we end up asking you, how many rounds do they really need VP on this terrorist side?
Against an NiP that's looking like they're playing like this with Forrest at the level that he was earlier in this half, like as many as you want, as many as you can get. Like you'll take everything. They're going to want to get up towards at least 6 here. One more would be great for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, when both Forrest and Get Right are top fragging for NiP, you
look
know
at
you're
the
in for a
switch.
rough time. And yeah, that's it. This is the change in strategy. All of a sudden, Virtus.Pro going for that double op, and they're going to be looking for that pick. They've been successful so far in the past few rounds with Bayali, but now they're going to be turning to Pasha and Neo. And it's worth saying that Neo has stepped up individually with his op play throughout this tournament and in recent time as well, so we have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, just to add to the nostalgia factor, right? Neo AWPing once again, that's also pretty good. Right now, still way more than a minute left on the clock. They are maneuvering about, got the bomb all the way across the map, while there is what might be a bit of a distraction down at Ivy.
And there's the wallbang coming in from Get Right as well. He's setting it up. He realizes the window's getting broke and somebody's got to be up there. And he wants to get some damage out, but not quite yet. Slow pace so far, but we're just past the minute mark.
Yeah, only one Molotov left for NiP. And look at this readjustment by Virtus.Pro. 3 players are going to come from alley. The bomb's still over by mid, so this is going to be an execution out onto that outside bomb site.
Wondering if Taz is going to set up a smoke for those guys over at Ivy so that they don't have to worry about the courtyard, but can simply wrap around on the left-hand side. There's the underhand throw in, and he did put up the smoke, I believe. Yeah, there it is. You see it land right in front of Exist. Another smoke goes in, but Exist will land the kill. Gets another one. Even as he's flashed, he takes down Snacks. Can he get that third? There's another guy in there, and Exist is creeping through. It might be a triple. He's out of bullets. He puts out the pistol instead, and he gets the shot. Oh, help from Forrest, and he's going to get dropped. Taz and Neo trying to fight their way back here, and it's not going to work. Exist will land that triple kill eventually, and NiP, what a hold it was. VP, they had that set up.
What a hero Exist has been on this alley defense. You look back to the pistol round, that's a very similar setup from Virtus.Pro. That time, able to time a peek right before the smoke blooms, and he ends up getting 2 blind and through smoke, so he saves that round for NiP.
That smacks of preparation on my part. That smacks of Exist knowing how many people are going to be coming through alley there, and that it's a good idea to go ahead and like spray through. Because that was very beautiful work from Exist. And now, well, double AK, 3 pistols here for Virtus.Pro, whatever nades they can pick up, and they're spread out all over the place, just hoping, praying that NiP are going to make a mistake that will allow them to end this at 9-6, because, as you guys were saying, they need every single round here versus NiP.
Right, no committal quite yet anywhere from Virtus.Pro. Still staying far back. They have Tech 9, so they're very light. This is looking once again like it is going to be that fast-paced outer execute. They don't have a lot to work with. 2 players going to come down ladder, but they've got to get these initial kills, and they don't have a lot of guns to do it with.
Smokes, flashes go up. Forrest looking for an opening here, and he spots at least a couple of people. Get Right gonna help out and take down Taz. He falls, and Snacks with a double in return, and that's a nice way to open up a bomb site. It's gonna leave it at a 3v3. The bomb is already being put down with the cover of that smoke. Exist all the way back here, under half health, and VP, they might be able to claim this last round, which is going to be critical for them. Pasha takes down Alu, but Neo going to be dropping Exist, and that's all on Freiburg. Came in a bit late from the B-bomb side. He charges out into the courtyard and taking away. He's got the kit in hand, but they know exactly where he is. He sprays down Neo, and now there's only 2 men left. Can he find them in time? Look how well they're staying hidden here. They don't want to show themselves. He's going to try and go for the smoke defuse, but it's not going to reach far enough. He's out of the smoke, and they're right next to him, and Freiburg goes down. Great kill there. Pasha picking up the last 2, and that's going to be a 9-6 half in favor of NiP.
And there it is. From the start of that execution by Virtus.Pro, the bombs planted within 15 seconds. A little bit unfortunate from Force. He couldn't find that angle, so he was forced back into cover. And that leaves Get Right wide open to a free kill coming out mid from the Virtus.Pro players. And that's all they needed.
Yeah, and Snack's also delivering as well. Double entry frag from him. It's not every day that we see him leading the charge, but there you go. Cheeky wink, just letting you know that he's still in shape. And he is a big part of why now VP have a pretty favorable scoreline going into the next half.
I feel like this first half could almost be cut up into sort of 3 different sections. The first one where VP are quite aggressive and fast, and then they sort of slow down towards the end of it, and then just in the last couple of rounds, they actually try and speed it up again. So I'm not sure if it was NiP that sort of forced them to play that slowly, or if VP just lost confidence in what seemed to work initially.
Oh, and Force and Get Right are slapping you every round, right? And then Exist also. Yeah, maybe the confidence was lost a little bit, but then that's the beauty of having, you know, the likes of Taz and Neo on this team, as well as Cuban behind them. They have that experience to be able to grind out the rounds in the end and be able to get back into a half before it's all over, and NiP have run away with the scoreline.
Yeah, I think you also look back, there was a round that we mentioned, there were like 3 NiP players hovering around $10,000 when the economy was so built up. Once Virtus.Pro was able to chip away at that and really hinder it, that's when they kind of changed the pace a little bit. They knew they could abuse the fact of light nades, light mollies, light smokes, you know, even weaker weapons. And then as the half wore on towards the end there, yeah, they picked it back up and just tried to catch them off guard.
It's pretty fun to watch both of these teams play in the anti-eco situations as well, because they both believe in bullying tactics, right? Getting out there, just rushing and showing no respect. I mean, that's all about throwing your opponents off their game as well. So it was fun to see VP, you know, taking advantage of that versus NiP there, just putting NiP in their place for a moment.
Well, once they had that one round where they found success at the inner bomb site, and the next round Pasha just goes over there and he's like, all right, I'm not even going to throw a smoke. I'm just going to come down and body Freiburg around a little bit.
And that's what we want to see a lot more of, and what we can expect, and especially on Inferno. I mean, that's a map where VP are well known for doing very aggressive mid pushes. Obviously, we're not quite there yet, but yeah, they're a team that like to, once they get the confidence at least, they really like to throw their weight around.
Well, we begin, ladies and gentlemen. 9-6 the score line. NiP on the offense now with 9 rounds to their name, and VP on the defense. And this is going to be a very fast push coming in here from Virtus.Pro. They are geared up to take a fight with the Kevlar and straight into the action. Taz, Neo, both headshots there, and it's all action in the halls. Finally, you swap into it so you can share, and Passa's there to take out Forrest. 2-man advantage now for Virtus.Pro.
Alu and Exist, I don't know if they can bring this back. This is a bit of a stretch, I feel like. Pasha's walking down. Alu's actually going to come back and look for him. He sees this coming. Close range. Is he going to use the single shot? He will. No burst activated yet, but if he knew the range, he just might try and do it. Sneaking on in. Is he going to spot? He will see the shoulder and tries to go for it. Lands a headshot, and Pasha's down. And that's going to bring it back into a 2v2, but the bomb is up there, and they have to find a way to get back in. They've got a single flash on Exist. And I like the fact that they're at least grouping up now.
I like that Neo's, you know, he's just letting them know as well. We know exactly what's happening here. We've got the smoke to block you out, but Taz decides to take the fight. He's going to go, and he gets the headshot onto Alu. That changes everything now. Alu is going up to his death, essentially. He's hoping for a lucky burst, but it's not meant to be.
It could well be. The ladders are good for this kind of burst. He's not hitting yet, but he's going to try it one more time. It's just going to take a single good burst. He reloads quick. He's up back. Alu's going to get it. Oh my God, NiP, they win the second pistol round as well. Unreal.
And it started off with such a beautiful pinch by Virtus.Pro. 2 coming up the ladder from outside, 3 pushing inner. That actually forces a pause out of Virtus.Pro. The momentum swings completely in NiP's direction.
Oh, that's a catastrophe as what? How 4-on-2, and yet NiP are able to ground out that situation, and then Alu, this should be impossible right here. No way should he be able to come up that ladder in one piece to get his hands on that bomb, let alone get the kill.
I cannot believe it. That should have never happened. What possessed Taz to jump down the ladder as they still had the bomb up there?
He thought, I'm assuming he thought that Alu was still flanking around T-spawn, maybe trying to come up that way, so he thought he could find a one-on-one, catch someone off guard, because just like you're thinking, what was he thinking? I mean, that's the most unexpected move at the moment. He even had the Glock to do it, so he wanted to, you know, stay mobile, stay moving, being able to jump, avoid bullets, get some information. Fortunately, well, actually, it turns out for a one-for-one trade.
Yeah, exactly. Trading headshots, right? Best case scenario there for him in that case. But now, well, we get into the next round. 17th round here with an NiP. Well, NiP having the advantage. They've got the guns. They've got the weapons. But VP have gone for the force buy. They've got the Nova shotgun on Snacks, 3 pistols, and the Scout as well. No surprise to see the Scout here. It has really become the weapon of choice in anti-ecos.
Taz moving closer. This is dangerous. That 5-7 instant headshot there. Going to go for a little bit more and almost drops Freiburg. A lot of damage being output by Taz. Snax moving closer and almost takes down Forest. Look at the damage the VP are doing. They just need a couple of kills here. And this is a winnable round for them. Looking for the shot with the scout. Neo's going to miss it, and now he's in a lot of trouble. Exist coming in with the right timing, and Bialy will take down Freiburg.
A fantastic shot by Bialy. Up close, Forrest though, waiting for Bialy to peek. He's not going to miss the shot. Instant headshot there. Pasha, he does have the scout now. Alu just runs up to him and slaps him around with the MP7. And NiP recover in the end with 3 players alive and 11 rounds on the board.
So much damage dealt early on, and NiP gets away with it anyways. They couldn't clean him up. That was nicely done from them, even only losing 2 players after all that damage.
Oh, you can hear the crowd chanting, I hope, in the background. There's a lot of energy in the Lanxess Arena here tonight. 11-6, and NiP, at least Exist, going fairly aggressive out here. And this is what you were talking about, Semler. When they feel they've got it, they're just going to go for it. But Bialy lands, I think, almost 3 headshots on Forest.
Yeah, it is that style, isn't it? Just brutalize your opponents. Don't let them get back to their feet. Don't let them get confident. Bialy, though, showing that he's still got some fight in him. And he's going to go running right into Alu, who dispatches him very quickly there with the AK. Pasha, now the last man alive, but not for long. 4 players live in the end for NiP. And now we get to go into the first buy round, the crucial round for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, very crucial at 12-6. They've got a lot of ground to recover. And they've got to have the money to do it. And in this 4th round, it's going to be a little bit light. No kits whatsoever. They've got to be careful on these post-plant situations. If the bomb does go down, the retake needs to occur so incredibly quickly.
Well, they're so very light, exactly. No nades. This is brutal. It's all going to come down to headshots for Virtus.Pro in the end. And establishing the crossfires, but let's see, NiP not wasting any time at all. Straight out, this is the kind of rush we were talking about. Out onto the outer site. Bialy starting off strong, though, taking out Exist. And there's Snax to remove Forrest, but Freiburg is there to take out Bialy, and Neo not in time to stop that bomb plant.
Second kill from Freiburg. So yeah, the bomb is down to 3v3, but NiP, they're getting tagged up here. VP could definitely retake this Freiburg court on the ladder, and Neo trying to juggle around there as well. Gonna be up on top, and he sprays down Alu. Fantastic job here, and it's gonna be Get Right in a 1v3. He's trapped in Pop Dog and smoked out. He still ridiculously lands the shot, but he can't make it through. Neo's gonna get it with a triple, and he saves Virtus.Pro. What a round here from the legend himself.
Yeah, he does enough damage before that bomb gets planted and before they can recover into post-plant positions that it allows Snax to get in there very quickly and even without a kit, an easy defuse. But that's the kind of play Ninjas in Pajamas, you could tell they wanted to set the tone early. They wanted to get out there quick. They wanted to bully Virtus.Pro back. But without the nades to slow that down, Virtus.Pro still manages to win those fights.
That might plant the seed of doubt here. Exist, Natu, you know, the callers for this team. If they realize, wait a second, VP have figured out how to stop our rush. What's the next play? Where do they go to?
The next play is getting an AWP onto Alu. And he was doing some work with it yesterday, so find some picks, get your sniper to get you some free kills, a man advantage early on.
Okay, right, it's fairly aggressive. Look at this, he's actually running into that A courtyard, interconnect. How does he get that far? Finally, he's going to be down, but Alu finds an opening. Taz, close range, drop the bomb as well. Looking good for VP. If they win this round, they could definitely come back in this game. They're a man up. They've got control of them. And finally, Forrest going to be able to pick it up here, but now the whole VP team has rotated in, and this is a good situation for the Poles.
And this is where it gets so very tricky. Bialy to take out Forrest. 2-man advantage now for Virtus.Pro, and it's all going to come down to the shots. They have a decent position, but VP have figured this out. Bialy takes out Exist, but Alu brings it back to a 1-on-3. Nearly has it. He does get it. Readjusts his aim, but barely misses the diffuser. And now he's trying to set it up, but he's running out of time. Taz is on the bomb, and it's just not going to happen. Snax plenty of time for the diffuse in the smoke. One flaw right there is that Freiburg goes out alone, and there's nobody to get the refrag.
Right, it took far too long to trade that off, and Virtus.Pro holds him out of the site long enough for the rotations to come in. Also, with the AWP purchase last round, it took so long for Alu to get involved in the round.
We've been talking about nostalgia, and the tactic that NiP just threw is actually normally executed in reverse. So the people push in B first, and then Get Right will try and lurk in from behind. That's something that people did in 1.6 for the longest time, and it's very effective, because as you're doing the retake on B, suddenly there's a guy behind you. So I kind of feel like maybe that's why NiP did it that way, but I would like to see them do it the original way.
Well, we'll see how things develop now, because NiP showing a bit of the envy here. They're going for the straight up force by Tech9s. Couple deagles. Let's see if they can get the job done because they aren't wasting any time. Yet again, it's going to be straight out onto the A site. It seems Bomb making its way there. The nades have been used. Forrest takes some damage initially, but VP doing a pretty good job. I mean, NiP only just now starting to push out.
They've got to wait for Alu to try and find something with the op. It's all on him to open things up, to give those pistols space to work with, and he's going to peer out. Snacks gets that first one, though, and Bialy with the second.
Another one for Snacks there, and Neo to pick up Get Right, and Alu, last man alive. What could he possibly do? Well, it takes down by Ali, but unless they start feeding themselves one at a time here, he can't really make it back. And you save me, Moses. I was about to say, I haven't seen too many people make much use of Snacks' position, but he gets a double kill anyway, so pretty good job there. Going to be walking in, and Taz is right around the corner. Alu sneaks on in, misses the shot, misses the no-scope, goes for the knife, and ends up dropping. A brave effort here.
That's the second time now, Alu with the AWP. That time with NiP all pistols, but Alu hadn't taken a shot by the time his 4 teammates fell, so either not giving him the time to work with a little bit of miscommunication there, but Virtus.Pro just feasting on it. And now they've won a couple straight. Their money's starting to build up itself.
Yeah, that's the issue as well, is that if you use all of your smokes, all of your nades to try and set it up, but then you're relying on the op to get you the pick, it's like, okay, do we wait and waste all of these nades and then make it that much more difficult for us to get out onto a site later on? I think NiP were feeling the pressure in that round. And well, now it's not going to get any better because they're down to Tech 9s and a few P250s. A little bit of an investment made by Get Right. He goes ahead and picks up some Kevlar in the helmet, but it is going to be that split onto A, and NiP now just going to go barreling in here. Can VP withstand the charge? It looks like so far it's fairly even between these two.
Yeah, good kill. Exist following up with a shot on Bialy. Oh no, VP, they were looking so good. If they lose a round like this, that will be devastating. And Taz and Neo and Snacks, they're going to follow it up. So very, very important that they get a round like that home. A bit of a shame they even lost the 2 that they did. But honestly, they're making their way back here. They're now at 12-10 here. This is looking very good.
Yeah, this defense has all of a sudden been put on lockdown. This is a big round for NiP, starting to let it slip away. They had a huge lead.
Yeah, and you can hear the chant as well for Virtus.Pro. Quite a few fans for them here. I mean, both of these teams, that's something we absolutely need to point out. Both of these teams, major title holders. They both won a major, and now, well, they're meeting here in the quarterfinals. And well, Snacks actually taking a bit more of an aggressive position, but it's going to be Neo here looking towards lower. And there it is, just off on the timing, but they missed the shot. No, Taz sticks around too long, and Force is able to get the kill, but a great HE by Neo brings it back Virtus.Pro's way, and they maintain the man advantage, holding these sites.
It's a cool little mind game, isn't it? He fires the AWP, and that will oftentimes trigger someone to go for a peek, and then Taz is right there behind him.
Yeah, the bait and switch, it worked perfectly there. And now, I mean, this is an advanced position from Snacks. He can cut off one avenue of attack. Virtus.Pro, they're very split up, but they're in positions that give so much information. It gives so much time to rotate. Snacks hears some running from Alu, so he knows the call. You can see Posh has already started rotating over towards the inner bomb site.
Yeah, that's the key position, exactly. The main route here for NiP to make their way towards that B site, but the bomb is slowly making its way back towards A, and Freiburg hasn't changed his position up on Ali, so he's still looking to see if he can't catch somebody out, get that entry frag for his team onto the A site.
But you can only wait around for so long until Snacks gets impatient and starts walking around, and once they find Alu here, that's going to pretty much give the rest of the team away, and there's Bialy dropping the bomb, so if Snacks wasn't already onto what was going on, Bialy sort of confirms it at that point in time. 20 seconds, there is nothing that Freiburg can do to win this round, so now it's just a question of doing damage or maybe saving the AK, and it's going to be neither. Bialy will pick up another double kill here, and it's 12-11.
Oh, it's a good thing Bialy got the bomb down because 3 players from Virtus.Pro were committed towards that inner bomb site defense, just circling around Alu as he was causing a little bit of a distraction. So NiP there in that mid-round, relying on some one-on-one victories, and they don't go their way. Virtus.Pro with another defensive stand, and that's 5 straight.
Yeah, that's exactly at the plow, man. It's starting to rev up here. And NiP, their answer to that is to go for a bit of a quasi-buy here, investing in some Tech 9s, nades, armor, but they're still going to be able to full buy in the next round here. So NiP just looking to see if they can get, well, just a little lucky, get some headshots with those Tech 9s, get that bomb plant, get that bonus money. And while the push begins here onto the A site, NiP setting it up, trying to get close enough to get that bomb down, but Bialy holding close, looks for the shot, not going to find it on Alu. Neo instead will be the one to take the kills, and 4 quick kills there for Virtus.Pro, but it's still a successful round as far as NiP are concerned. They got that bomb plant and the bonus money that goes with it.
Right, and that's what we're talking about. When you're on the defensive side of Train, once you have that economy, you could see once the execution came in for NiP, the Molotov slowed everything down, gave time for the rotate, and now Exist. They've installed out 6 rounds in a row, and now they need to talk it over. They need to figure something out to work.
Is this time? We often talk about the timing of a timeout. When do you do it? Is it too late here, Moses? What do you think? Should they have called this earlier?
No, this is a fine time. It's 12 to 12. You have plenty of time to work with. You have rounds. I mean, you're now in the full losing bonus. You're going to have money. They're pausing on a round where the next round is a bye, and we've seen how often these matches get paused, and it results in a win for the team that called the tactical pause.
Exactly, and I mean, there's also been some tendency to pause before an eco round almost, and you're just like, well, then you're just going to kind of like throw that round away, and then no, NiP, they set it up, they get the bomb plant, they know how much money they have to work with in this round as well, so they do have the option of going for the AWP on Alu. There's a lot that they can make work here.
What's the play right now, the NiP? If you had to make the call here, given what we've seen, and obviously you have a lot more information than NiP do, but where is the weakness, if there is any, in the VP setup?
I think you don't go for anything fast, just because Virtus.Pro's been shutting it down with their flashes, their smokes, their mollies, and they're able to do so much damage once the execution comes from NiP. I think once again, I would love to see them get an AWP in Alu's hands again, but give him some time. Let him get involved in the round, see what he can make happen. Maybe towards the inner bomb site, see if he can get up top towards that upper ledge and peer into the bomb site. Maybe try and find you a pick, at least hold some angles so you can execute into it.
I think that's the main point here. It's almost like Navi-esque, you know, how the old style of Navi where they relied so heavily on Guardian. They just sit and wait and run down the time, hoping that somebody would peek Guardian. It's difficult for Alu if his teammates get impatient. So we'll see if that's been taken into account here for NiP, because we should be getting out of this pause fairly soon. The buy has been initiated.
I always like pointing this out on this map. It's one of my favorite topics recently, the aggressive Ivy push. VP, they've been winning round after round, so you can't really argue that they are the ones who need to change something, but they know NiP are about to change. Would it be a good call for them to try and sort of preemptively change their setup?
It's just the gamble you take with a play like that, and that's exactly it. You know they've changed something up. You know they have a strategy in mind for this round. So if you get aggressive like that, perhaps you catch a couple players caught off guard, thinking about what they're going to do next. And here's Alu leading the way with the AWP, finds the angle, can't hit the jumping shot though.
No, too quick there, and he does actually dodge that nade as well. It goes a little deep, so luckily for him, he's getting out of it pretty scot-free. But Neo's still set up out in yard. If NiP decide to push behind this fast, it's going to get a bit rough for them. There's quite a stiff defense here for VP, but if Exist can give the entry frag, that changes things. Pasha trying to set up with the nade, but he's just a second too late. Forrest there to hop on him, and Bialy, he's all by his lonesome for now. He's got the support of his mates, but this is going to be him hitting that timing. Snacks rushes forward, and the kills so far going NiP's way.
Very important refract from Alu, and there's another shot coming through as Bialy goes down. It's on Taz. You saw him waving his arm. He's going to get the one. He gets the second headshot of Forrest, and now it's down to Freiburg with 50 seconds left. And he's got that bomb out in the A courtyard. He can find it and put it down, and Taz, he wants to get a new position, and that's the exact right move here. You can't let Freiburg know where he is. Freiburg now going to play a game of hide and seek while that bomb is just ticking away. And Taz, one bullet to the foot, and he's going to be gone. Freiburg, does he know it? He's probably got the information from a teammate. He's going to be sneaking up here, and look how well he's playing it. He's not going to make a move until he's absolutely sure where Taz is, and Taz is running out of time. Walking in, he's got the kit, but no grenades. He's going to tab it once. Can he flush out Freiburg here? Not quite yet. A Molotov goes down. Taz, he put so much into this round, but he's simply out of time, and he's going to get downed. And a nice round from NiP after losing so many in a row.
A crucial round, and it was executed very well. There was a very good layer to that outer hit, with Alu staying back the entire time. He took the initial peek, but he stays so far back so that when his teammates do get killed, when they do get into a battle, he can peek out and be aggressive and support them perfectly. But Taz, that's a huge play, and what might go unnoticed is that only one player survives there. So despite winning that round, 4 players falling, they have no money built up when what was a 3-man surviving before Taz did that work.
Exactly. That's the big point to be made here. NiP have just spent all of their money to get re-equipped. VP, they had plenty of money in the bank, and they still have some. So VP definitely very far from out of this map. And now look at this tricky play here by NiP to try and get a pick, trying to make use of Exist. He's got the angle. Freiburg there as well. Forrest looking for it, but Pasha not interested in games. Just going to smoke that angle off and stop worrying about it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bodies there for NiP being smoked off that can't be utilized elsewhere, so this is really good job of delaying.
Neo holding aggressively over here, but he's not going to get the shot, and instead actually gets found out by GetRight. So some good information here about where that AWP is playing. And just ticking past the minute mark here. As NiP are rotating the bomb all the way back. They've sort of more or less given up on that 3-man stack on Ivy. They don't want to play with Pasha any longer. And Bialy not getting spotted. Look how close Bialy and Alu are to each other here.
Yeah, that's the thing. Bialy's taken kind of the quiet of this round. Look, all of them have. Look at Taz as well. They've pushed up. They've gotten far more aggressive than they were earlier. So when this execute comes in, the defense is going to be so close.
Yeah, exactly. All 4 players here for VP. There's no time left. 25 seconds left when the push begins. And Bialy, no luck for him. Entry frag for Forest. Slaps him down, but Taz in line. And Snacks is there as well. The kills go VP's way. They've got the advantage. They've got the pressure on NiP, who just cannot handle it. Exists the last man alive here in a 1v4. And well, his team, they're about to get their money reset if he doesn't do something magical here, but it's just not possible. He has to back off and hold on to this sole AK.
Yeah, NiP was not ready for that much defense that close to the outer yard, and they get absolutely annihilated. Snacks goes beast mode, and we just talked about it last round. This is the effect of Taz getting those 2 kills in that 1-on-3. Now NiP, what do they buy here? They have to force buy up. They have an AK-47 on Exist, but behind that, it's not much.
You think that they have to force buy at this point, though? I mean, they can let VP up to 14 and then just have a little bit of a buffer, a little bit more of a buy.
So they save behind this AK, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to sit back hard eco as well. So they're putting it all on this next round, Anders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit worried. You lose 6 rounds in a row, you finally call the timeout, you win a round, but now you're under timeout, so you're not going to have that same card to play once again. Now it's really just going to have to be thinking on your feet and hoping that you've got some sort of read. I mean, even the round that they won, it was down to a 1-on-1, so it's not like you have a huge amount of confidence and maybe want to replay that same style that you did. They're going to have to come up with something fresh here.
Yeah, this is the worst case scenario for NiP. No doubt about it. And Virtus.Pro, they should be supremely confident at this point. They should have an idea of what they're up against, hearing the Glocks as well. Pasha still holding the angle. Forrest checking those tricky corners over in Ivy. But NiP yet to commit. Pasha takes the peek and Neo follows it up. Slaps Exist out.
And then that's the AK-47 down. Now there's no armor left with the weapon, but it doesn't matter when Forrest hits shots like that. A beautiful one.
You said vintage Forest. Well, right now would be a great time for him to get into that phone booth and change into that Superman cape and just come out again here and wreck them because they need it now. This is VP very close to victory. Forest with another headshot. And it might be about that time. We're now into a 3v3 in Forest. He's hungry. He's looking for more. He's going to go for it. He sprays, but the aim punch not going to work in his favor. Snacks and Taz will take down 1 each, and it's going to be friberg alone with a Glock. And not much hope. Yeah, gonna come up with a burst fire. Not a bad idea. And using those ladder mechanics to get just a little bit more momentum.
Yeah, and you want to talk about Forrest. He doesn't win on the round, but he gives him enough space inside. Once Forrest hits those 2 shots, Taz feels a little bit antsy for his teammates, start to cheat or rotate just a little bit. That allows the bomb to go down. And we talked about it's all on this round for NiP, and that extra $800 does so much for them.
Exactly. That's why NiP can look at that as still being a win. They didn't get the magical stuff, but they've got the money, and now they get the nades. There's a Tech 9 on Exist. He's going to be the one skimping here, but 4 AKs to follow it up. This is sufficient firepower here for NiP. Now, do they have the plan? Do they have the tactic to take advantage of this? And it's looking like straight up YOLO play so far, at least by Alu.
Very fast into the courtyard here. I think he had a teammate following him, but he got flashed out. So now Alu's kind of alone out here. Now we've seen some teams, let's say Fnatic with Olofmeister, make so much use of sneaking out in here, but he's been found out. He hits a shot, a special flick, and Forrest goes down. Exist will get a kill. Neo with 1 return, but it might not be enough here. Taz and Neo are left, and it's a 2v4. Neo misses the flick, and now it might be the return of NiP. Taz is alone in a 1v4, jumps through, and Alu drops him. A double kill for the Finnish player is going to tie the score at 14-14.
Yeah, when all is on the line for NiP, they make it count there. And now, here's the pause out of Virtus.Pro because they're in a tough spot.
Do you think that's the right call? I mean, yes, okay, you just got, I mean, they just managed to rush out on you, right? But that was some great headshots. I mean, they managed to sneak all the way through. Do you want to give NiP another free timeout, right? When they basically have their backs to the wall.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it, but also it's Virtus.Pro. The decision is, do you call the pause when you're going for the win, or do you call the pause when you're going for the tie? And they've chosen to go for the win.
Just like the ecos.
I mean, this is very, very difficult. I think the word that we're looking for here is how replicable is that round for NiP? How many times can you sneak Alu into the yard without him getting found out? again, we bring up Fnatic and Olofmeister in this context because he was so good at it, not just in a couple of matches, but for a while. And he actually does make it work round for round, but not everybody's an Olofmeister. They're going to need something very interesting here to make it work.
Well, it's similar. Virtus.Pro got a couple of rounds off Snacks doing something very, very similar in the first half.
And they're going back to the op on Alu. Alu is the man who managed to sneak his way out there and create the opening that started it all for NiP. Now he's going to be limited with the slow play once again, but it doesn't look like that's going to hinder them. NiP straight out onto the yard, and Alu double scope just to be sure. Picks off Pasha, but 2 kills go VP's way, and it's looking a little bit hairy here for NiP.
Oh, Bayali's in a great position here. The bomb is down as well. Alu will land another kill, but he is alone. He's got all the time in the world, but I don't think that's going to help him. They know where he is as well. Up on the ladder for a quick second. Here's a headshot on Bayali. This cannot possibly happen. He's up on the bomb. He sees another player. They're fighting him, and they will win. But Moses, was it necessary? Did they have to fight him 3-on-1 like that?
Yeah, why not? They win the round there. It was a good trade. They bait him out, and he's not ready for that second player. The big thing is NiP, the change they made during that timeout was they do another fast outside strap, but this time they switch things up. Instead of coming out that T middle choke, they come out the ladder room, and now they switch into a double op setup, and this is very interesting for how fast they've been playing lately.
What's interesting as well is that both teams have opted for this kind of play, this kind of strategy. Double AWP on the field. And let's see now, NiP, so far they've had some success with the fast play, but they're going to try and slow everything down now and hope to catch VP out of position.
So this is going to have to be a round where VP actually give them some entries. If VP play this one super safe and never peek anywhere, it's going to get very rough.
Well, the key is they've seen Forrest shoot the op. They don't know it's Forrest. All they know is it's an AWP. They might not be expecting Alu over at Ivy. That might mean Pasha wants to get a little bit frisky going up against, thinking he's going to go up against an M4.
There's already the angle. Alu's got it, but now it comes down to patience and Pasha. A perfect display. Alu on scopes, he knows. I mean, the likelihood of him getting the shot, not really there. So they are going to have to change things up here on NiP, and life just got a whole lot more difficult for the Swedes.
We're looking at either Virtus.Pro taking this first map in the quarterfinals, 16-14, or NiP putting us in overtime. And I'm not sure which is which right now. It's going to be 35 seconds left as they make their way across the map. Neo is ready inside here with a Molotov, but there is an additional player in sight, NiP. They need an entry frag. If they lose one here, that's going to buy time for VP, and Forrest is in charge. Going to scope up with the AWP, jumping into the bomb site. Can they get it? They didn't spawn Taz, and he's going to take one down, but he gets dropped by Freiburg. Important refrag. Neo spraying halfway through the wall to get that kill, and the bomb, is it going to go through? Freiburg puts it in, gives his life for the cause, and now it's down to Alu and Exist. They're a man down, jumping down. Exist not going to get it. Alu has to clutch it, and he's miles away. They're already on the defuse. He has to run for it. Knife out, AWP, and he gets the shot. Then it is Virtus.Pro, 16-14. They make it work.
A beautiful match from Virtus.Pro, adjusting very, very well to all the strategies that NiP threw at him. The ops of NiP, they put a lot of emphasis on him. They bought him quite frequently. They didn't have the impact that NiP, I'm sure, was hoping for. That's down to Virtus.Pro just playing very, very solid defense.
Alu ending up at 26 kills, 23 on Forrest, and the most on VP was 25 on Taz, and Snacks on 24. So there were a couple of people who were just a little bit ahead of the field. What a game this was, and it was only the first map.
Yeah, truly neck and neck throughout the entire map, though. That's the thing. Even looking at the frags, I mean, just round after round, everybody was keeping pace. Both of these teams, all 10 players, pretty much even as far as frags are concerned. It wasn't until the end that Alu started to pull ahead, and he ended up top fragging on the map entirely, even with VP winning. So, perfect way to start off this best of three, though. This is going to get both of these teams fired up for the next one.
And if you're NiP, I mean, obviously you don't want to take too many just straight up moral victories out of it, but a couple good signs. Forrest had some beautiful shots in that half, had some really good rounds. Alu has been a beast on Inferno in the past, and that's the map they're moving on to.
True. I mean, the big thing here that we have to wonder, and I'm sure the analysts are going to try and pick apart, is NiP are starting T side, aren't they, on Inferno?
Yeah, they are. So, I mean, to prevent that incredible CT sort of landslide, they need to win some very crucial rounds, either the pistol on T side or at least the fourth round. If it goes past that, they get all those Molotovs and all those smokes, and things start to get very ugly. I'm definitely worried. I think this. I mean, you guys did mention it, the possibility that VP could 2-0 NiP because of the map sort of sequence here. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if it's going to be the case or not. I'd be a little bit worried if I was an NiP fan. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially heading in. I mean, that was the thing. Everyone said that that they needed to win Train, but I mean, now that they've lost it, they're heading into a really tough half of T-Side Inferno.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back after a quick commercial break with the analyst desk. So stay with us and we'll be back soon.